Today on Daily Weekly Builds, we're taking a look at this officially licensed Well Attack set by Reobrix, a LEGO rival, and one that looks pretty interesting if you ask me. Reobrix did send this set to me for free, but I promise you all opinions are my own. As always with these sponsored videos, I don't really see the point of lying to you, so if this is great, I'll tell you. If it's not, then don't worry, I'll let you know about that as well. And what's pretty cool about these Well Attack sets is that they do include bonus codes so you can redeem them for in-game items, which is a pretty nice touch. I didn't expect that, that's for sure. This set is rated 14+, and it's set number 77030 with 836 pieces. And this Sherman tank is done in a 1/30 scale, and once again it is an officially licensed product here. They've partnered up with World of Tanks, and it's pretty cool. And one thing about the box which I quite like, as you can kind of see here, is it's got a really nice high quality feel. It's a matte finish, and then the tank is this slightly raised embossed glossy picture, which is really nice. And on the back of the box it keeps it nice and minimal, another picture of the tank and some of the play features as well. Now I will say that I was a little bit disappointed with how this arrived. It didn't come in any outer box or anything. It was only wrapped in bubble wrap and then in like a plastic bag. So my box, which came all the way from China, did get a little bit bashed up and dented, which is a little bit of a shame, because if this box was in better quality, I probably would have kept it, because I really like that finish. It feels good and it looks good. But yeah, I kind of expected a little bit better for the packing. And around on this side of the box, we can see some of the dimensions for how big it is. Inside the box are 3 larger bags, which are all numbered, and inside they have smaller bags, which are also numbered as well. And the instruction booklet and this larger plate are safely protected by this plastic wrapping, which is good. I don't like it when things get creased up and scrunched up, which you sometimes see with other brands. And I know some of you are going to compare this to LEGO, and I don't blame you. But if this was a LEGO set, the main box would be a lot bigger, simply because of how large these bags were. It was really crammed in there, so there's no wasted space, but I'm surprised they didn't give it a bigger box just because they could. But yeah, there's a lot of parts here. Taking a look at the instructions, then we've got some nice high quality printing, again with that embossed glossy feeling to the picture of the tank and everything else. So it's premium quality instructions, that's pretty good. Lots of steps, perhaps a little bit more condensed than you might find with the LEGO set, for example. So if you're a new builder, you might struggle with it just looking at it on face value, but once I finish building it, I'll tell you how I found the build experience. But it's nice that there are clear colour pictures here. Although one interesting thing I've just noticed is that you apply the stickers right at the end, and that looks a little bit overwhelming. As for the stickers, they're all clear backed on this card here, and I'm sure they're going to add some nice details, although initially I was expecting them to be prints. Maybe there'll be some more prints in the bags. And of course, here is the bonus code, which obviously I'm going to cover mine up. Of course, I'm going to give that away for free. But here's some of the perks and bonuses that you get and instructions. And another code with some more redeemable gifts as well. That's a nice little inclusion, yeah. And since it was included in the instruction pack, here is this larger plate. As you can see, quite a glossy finish. No logos on the studs or anything like that. So it looks kind of typical for some off-brand alternatives, but it feels high quality. And it's in a colour that we haven't seen with LEGO, that's for sure. It's more of like an olive dark green hybrid. And another thing I found a little bit strange was the plastic bags. The plastic was so thick that I couldn't actually rip it. I had to cut it open instead. Not something I'm used to. Normally you can just rip the bags open, but yeah, this plastic was kind of extra thick. And these were the only leftover parts, a couple of treads for the tank, including one that was clearly not finished in the moulding machine, but I didn't need it anyway. A part that wasn't listed in the inventory and had no place to go. And then just one 1x1 round cylinder piece. And this was their brick separator. I loved seeing alternative versions of brick separators by other companies. And this one, I don't know, this reminded me like a dolphin or a fish or something. But it was pretty effective when I needed to use it, so that was good. Here's what it looks like without any of the stickers on. And I think if you didn't want to apply them, you wouldn't necessarily have to, because, well, it's clearly a tank and it still looks good even without any decorations on it. And here it is, the finished model, our Sherman tank. And now that I've finished it, I'm glad in a way, because it was a long and somewhat tedious build process with some clever and some questionable build techniques, I will say that. But I'm happy with how it looks. I mean, it is a tank, just look at it. And the one only single printed element in this entire set is this little display plaque here. It's on a 2x6 tile with the Reobrix logo and the World of Tanks logo. It's a pretty straightforward build. It just uses that cylinder piece to rest on there. And that's that, but it's effective enough. Maybe a more informative information plaque for the tank would have been nice, but I guess it's better than nothing. Although I do really, really wish that these other decorations here were prints or just traditional stickers, because applying these decals was not great. And I've worked with decals and this versions of stickers by other companies before, but maybe it's just this one-off set. I didn't have the best time with them. It's a lot of patience required, and especially when you had to apply all of them at the very last step. I feel like it would have been better if you applied them as you went, but yeah, some of them didn't stick on properly and things peeled off in the wrong place and it ripped, and there's some overlap, and yeah, so it's not great. I mean, they do add some really nice detail, but yeah, there's stickers over assemblies there, over multiple parts. I'm not a huge fan of that. So good details, I just wish it was executed better. And I will just quickly mention that the colour scheme here is not accurate to the one that's depicted on the box art or the instruction booklet. But could you forgive them and saying, oh, well, this is just a computer render? Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same. Clearly, this is a darker green than what we have here. I don't mind what we've got, but it is just not the same, so I thought I'd mention that. And another thing, of course, it's a tank. It's on treads, right? It's got tracks. Can it move? Well, this is a smooth surface, so it is having a hard time, but according to the instructions when I was building it, if I squeeze these parts together with the wheel assemblies, the tyres would not have enough space to move because they'd be rubbing against other parts. So I did just have to separate them slightly to get them to be able to move. But I do love how each little set of two is on its own little axle so it can move freely. So if it is going over some rough terrain, the wheels really move. I do quite like that. But to give a better demonstration of how this thing moves, I might have to take it to the carpet. Okay, so here we are back on floor cam, and well, yep, the treads do move. The tank can go across nicely, but yeah, it does need that, well, rough terrain. Maybe it's just mine, but it has a hard time going backwards. It doesn't really want to do that, but I guess, you know, it can only go forwards. I think this tank would have really benefited from some cheetah wheels just built into the undercarriage here, so it has more surface area to grip on, similar to what other brands do with some of their tractor vehicles. It's a good effect, and I really love all the mechanics and how each one moves individually so it can go over the terrain. Seeing those move, it's pretty cool. But there just isn't enough clearance for the treads. I mean, look how close it is. It's touching that part, so it's okay going forward, but it will not go backward because it just gets caught. So this tank can't reverse. Of course, it can rotate. The gun barrel can move up and down. Oh, and it breaks. Yeah, another one of the negatives. It's such a loose connection here. I like the parts usage, but I feel like it needed a better connection point because only connected by this hollow stud here, it's not a strong enough connection. And as you can see there, it just falls off with the slightest movement. But you can raise it and lower it just slightly if you wanted to, so there is some movement there. And this does not have any interior detail, so everything's focused on the outside. There are some hollow spaces in areas, but you're not really going to fit a minifigure in there. There's no minifigures included, although you do get a couple of hatches which you can open up just to see, and there's nothing in there, not even deep enough for a figure, but at least they have that, and there's 4, 2 on the top and 2 by the front here. And I think it's fair to say that this is definitely more of a display model rather than a play model, but if you did want to have fun and play with the carpet, you just got to take extra care. This is definitely not a model for kids. It's for more experienced builders. I wouldn't recommend this if you haven't built any brick-built thing before. Some patience is required. If you're after a model tank that looks good, I think you won't be disappointed with this one, but if you're more experienced and familiar with brick building things, you might think, well, they could have done it a little bit better in places, and as I said, there's definitely some room for improvements. Oh, and I just remembered another downside. A lot of these are kind of attached from the top only. There's nothing supporting them from the bottom, so if you accidentally press down on it, it's just going to fall out, and it's a pain to put back in. Overall, I think this is a valiant effort by Reobrix, and I applaud them for getting their licensing first of all for welder tanks. It's a great improvement, a great step forward for the brand, so well done to you, but there's definitely some areas of improvement needed. If you guys disagree or are interested in checking it out, then there is an affiliate link down in the description below. They've also got other tanks from Welder Tanks, so it's not the only one. They've got a Tiger tank and a couple of others as well, so I'm sure there'll be plenty more sets in the future. But of course, what's really cool is that you can actually play with this tank in the Welder Tanks game, and I've been playing a bit of that myself recently on the mobile version, playing Welder Tank Blitz, and I'm not the best at it, but it was a little fun to play around with, so it's cool to see. Plus, with that bonus code included, that's a nice addition. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends for more reviews like this from LEGO, Reobrix, Funhole, and other brands. Thanks again to Reobrix for sponsoring this video. All opinions were my own, as you saw there. Some positive, some negative. All that's left for me to do is to find a space on my shelf for this tank. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.